Greetings. I'm Michael Love God, my training partner, Juggernaut. Today I'd like to go over some basic Wing Chung, Jeet Kune Do techniques that you can use on an apparatus like this. So these will be what will be considered the left and right upper strike, lower strike, whether it be a kick. These can be a kick as well. We'll just think about them as hand blocks right now. So the first block I'd like to demonstrate is called Fox Sao. Sao means hand in Cantonese. Fok is a hooking block or a hooking hand. So it works well to hook a hand out of the way. And you also have the ability to redirect and maneuver the limb to open up for a strike. I usually want to keep my Wu Sao up, which will be my backhand if I'm Fox Saoing with my lead hand. That way it's always ready for an additional block if need be. So I like to stand in front of the what I'd consider the attack. That way we can practice the nullifying, and it's the core basis of, I believe, in the footwork in Wing Chung or Jeet Kune Do. To nullify is to sidestep, sort of like matrix your way out of it. So technically your hand movement isn't required to evade the blow. Much better than just standing here and trying to Fox out this out of my way. I'll nullify and step aside while I'm applying the Fox out, which allows me to gain contact. As I just discussed, we can step aside and avoid the blow. It takes much more skill and precision and timing. But once we apply the hand, now we're gaining contact, which in Cantonese is called sticky hands or Chi Sao. Chi Sao means to stick to gain contact, or Chi jerk would be to stick to the legs to gain contact, because it's a sensitivity, or you're trying to feel which way the body's moving and predict the next move. So while I stand in front, instead of just trying to fuck it out of the way, I'll nullify and step aside, but I'll also incorporate my Wu Sao, so my blocking hand is up. A lot of simultaneous actions happen in this art. It's not a 1, 2, 3. It's more like a 1, 3, all happening at once. The nullify, the Fox out, the Wu Sao, low line attack, and then surmising your next maneuver. So that's the Fox out. Again, if a strike is coming at my face, nullify, Fox with the Wu out. Okay. So that's Fox out, the hooking hand. Fox Sao. Next one is Tan Sao. Tan Sao works well for like maybe a hooking strike to the temple area. So if this was to come this way, engage that way, I would lift my fingertips up, palm facing me. You want to kind of keep the center line. You don't want it to be out. You want it to have basically a center line foundation with it, and then maneuver your stance to direct where your Tan Sao will be. Again, we'll nullify, standing straight in front of the attack. Nullify, but as I nullify, my Wu Sao will come up simultaneously. My Tan Sao will perform the block. using the wooden man, because it's stationary, it does flex a little bit, it does move around, kind of like on a sled, but since it's not a moving target as an individual would be, I have to manipulate myself around, which really helps on the nullifying aspect. So it'll keep you moving instead of the traditional toe-to-toe and just punching forward. You start to add a little animation to your techniques, and you can become creative at different theories. Now, because there's no one here trying to hurt you, so you have time to experiment and realize what would your best option may be. So we have our fox sao, our tan sao. The next one that we can do will be a pak sao. Pak sao is sort of like a slapping block. There's actually two that are similar. There's the parry and the pak sao. I believe a parry is kind of subtle, just getting it out of the way, and a pak, sort of like popping it out of the way. So if you're going to do your parry, you would be able to stay more in contact with it. Or a pak, you're trying to get it out of the way. But as you do that, you're also going to spin the body around and open yourself up to this strike. So be ready with a tan. So we're going to practice the parry first, which is the more subtle. So again, if I'm standing in front, if I nullify, put the parry up with my wu sao. Parry, parry. Stepping out of the way, and when you do this, you can manipulate your distance as well. You don't just have to step lateral, you can step diagonal and then get into their dance space. So the parry, strike coming in the face, wu sao up, nullify. Pak sao, I'm not going to extremely do it on here because I don't want to knock this down, but it would be more of a contact to where you're trying to pop it out of the way. But again, when you do that, be prepared for this other hand because it may pop right towards you. But then from this tan sao, do another tan sao here just to contact this one and keep yourself free. Tan sao, and then slide straight in. The efficiency of this art is beautiful. There is no rechambering or reevaluating or being engaged and then stepping back and reestablishing. Once you're in and you gain contact, ultimately you're trying to close the distance from a range where you can't touch or be touched to where you can strike with the leg, and then eventually the hands working into a joint manipulation, a grapple, and a submission. So it's sort of a